So hello everyone, welcome to episode 19 of our season 3 on F1 Manager 23. Now if you didn't watch the last episode in Qatar, my word, you want to go back and watch that one because Pierre Gasly got on a podium, P2, Lando Norris P4. It must be said that was a very tough race on tyre wear, but we did rather well in the end. Max Verstappen of course winning. Standings wise, we are currently second in the Constructors' Championship, ahead of Ferrari by 76 points and a further 100 points in front of Mercedes. We've got at least P3, but of course we are aiming for P2. Driver standings wise, we are heading for P2 as well. We had a little comment in the comment section the other day about can we catch George Russell? We will certainly try. Lando Norris is only 39 points behind this fellow British driver. Pierre Gasly in P7 at this moment in time could catch Carlos Sainz and could potentially catch the Ferrari boys as well. This weekend, of course, we head to Austin, Texas for the United States Grand Prix. It is a sprint weekend once again, 56 laps around here. Our car should suit it with the high-speed cornering. The soft compound tyre is not the way to go. Tyre degradation even is definitely a factor around here. So the mediums and the hards are certainly the optimal tyres. And one last thing to note is the car parts. Of course, we are having to manage the engine components now. We've got a lot of warm parts. We always have them on for practice in particular, but we have only really got 2 decent sets of engine components left to last us the rest of the season, and 1 set of them on each car is very worn. But we are putting our best foot forward this weekend because, of course, this is Andretti Cadillac's home Grand Prix, so I'm going to get through practice and I'll see you in qualifying for the United States Grand Prix. Now, unbelievably, we were in P3 and 4 before that second run. We didn't decide to go out again, and Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly both out in Q2. So P11 and P12 for the sprint coming up next. Right, guys, we're kind of being forced into this. So Lando Norris is going to be starting on the medium compounded tyre because of the tyre selection that he's got left from his practice and qualifying sessions. So he's got 3 sets of medium compound tyres as Lando Norris. So he's on the mediums, which I reckon is the optimal tyre to be on. Pierre Gasly's only got 2 sets of medium compounded tyres, so he's going to have to use up a set of softs, and we've told him to go light on the tyres. It's something that we are going to have to do so far this weekend. So we are going to start aggressive, but then as soon as we can, we are going to let off the tyres and just let Pierre Gasly cruise to the end. I'm more interested in that, it must be said, than just going and pushing full force. So P11, P12, let's get to the grid.
The grid is all set here in Texas for the 19 laps of today's sprint.
Always a popular event with the audiences in Austin. We're hoping to see drivers dueling it out around the circuit of the Americas.
But just who comes out on top when the checkered flag flies? Things are hotting up here in Texas for the sprint. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and we can see Leclerc and Perez, the 2 Ferraris on the front row, which is not something we're excited to see early doors. We can see that Perez nearly goes into George Russell in the Red Bull, but everyone makes it through turn 1 rather safely. Lando Norris has got away well. Pierre Gasly not so much. He's having to fight. In fact, he's dropped a position as Pierre Gasly behind the Williams of Giovinazzi. So straight away, Pierre Gasly struggling a little bit on the soft compounded tyre. He's the only one on the soft compounded tyre. Lando Norris as they go through these twisting curves. This is where we should be particularly quick. The 2 Andrettis come very close to coming together as we ride on board with Pierre Gasly shifting down into this tight left-hander, and then we've got the long straight now into the sun. The sun can be flaring in the visors of the drivers, but Pierre Gasly back up into P12, looking okay at this moment in time. We're just going to settle into this race a little bit. Don't see the need to push too much at the start here. We seem to be pretty much in control of everything, so we'll calm down. But it is Leclerc and Perez both on the front row, and P1 and 2 at the moment. Lando Norris is the first one to make a move, and he's passed Alexander Albon up into P10. He's now up into P10. He's got a gap to close to Valtteri Bottas. Pierre Gasly's just about tagging on to the back of these, but he is watching his tyres, and it must be said, lights on the tyres does seem to be the way to go here. Tyres are burning up quite a lot. We may get positions towards the end of this Grand Prix, but Pierre Gasly playing it cool at this moment in time, just ensuring that he can stay up with the cars in front, stay in the DRS and not burn up these tyres too much. Leclerc and Perez still lead. By the way, Zhou Guanyu in the Williams is in P3 at this moment in time and defending for his life against George Russell in the Red Bull, although George Russell is looking ominous to be passing him in the next couple of moments. Pierre Gasly going for the move on Alexander Albon. He's making these soft compound tyres last so well here is Pierre Gasly. I mean, I'm a bit in awe of what he's doing. He's been light on the tyres, but he's keeping the pace with his teammate Lando Norris, who's on the mediums. We've decided to go light on the mediums because we reckon in 13 laps time we are going to be in prime position to strike and attack the guys in front. But Pierre Gasly showing that the soft compound tyre might actually work on Sunday at this moment in time. But Gasly's now up to P11, Norris in P10. We've got a lock-up. It's Kevin Magnussen who is in that McLaren, and that McLaren has been one of the slowest cars all year. Now, let me know down in the comments, do we move team next season? Do we go for McLaren, or do we stick where we are? Because seeing McLaren at the back of the grid like this is breaking my heart. But one thing that isn't breaking my heart is how we have managed these tyres. With 4 laps to go, they're going to drop into the 30s. We are going to be in some form towards the end of this Grand Prix, and Pierre Gasly has made these soft compound tyres last like you have never seen. It's been so impressive, this, from Pierre Gasly. I'm in absolute awe of him at this moment in time. 47%. His soft compound tyres are better than the leaders. 4 laps to go. I fancy us to move forward towards the end. Lando Norris is starting to make moves. It is one of the things that next year they really need to get highlights in these sprint races. But Lando Norris starting to move forward now. As we can see, when he gets to lap 18, we are going to go full attack mode on both cars. But Pierre Gasly now sat in behind Valtteri Bottas and looking for a move. Pierre Gasly is trying to get past Valtteri Bottas. He's fighting tooth and nail. Bottas just about managing to shrug him off there. But Bottas is on the cusp of losing DRS on Lando Norris. Lando Norris, meanwhile, looking to attack Mick Schumacher. We've got 3 laps to go, but Gasly all over the back of the Audi. Final lap of the sprint. Perez, Leclerc and Verstappen going at it at the front. But Lando Norris is looking for moves, and certainly on Lance Stroll, whose tyres 34%. Lando Norris should be getting past these cars in the next couple of laps. Pierre Gasly equally is right on the back of Valtteri Bottas on these soft compound tyres. Somebody is going to make a mistake here, I would suggest, but Lando Norris, as we ride on board, is all over the back of the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, and we've got to say this has taught us a lot about tomorrow, specifically for Pierre Gasly. He has made these soft compound tyres last beautifully today, and I've been so impressed with them. We might try the soft compound tyres tomorrow with Pierre Gasly, but straight away Lando Norris now is looking to attack this Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. The tyres on this Aston Martin should be absolutely dead. Will Lando Norris manage to go for the move as the sun is setting here in Houston, Texas? Is he going to get alongside the Aston Martin as we switch back to the television camera? He's certainly going for a move down the inside and into that left-hander. Lando Norris looks like he's just about past the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. They are still side by side, but surely Lando Norris has got the tyre wear, and he certainly has. He's got the grip, he's got the traction. There are people starting to struggle at the front. Pierre Gasly, he's doing everything he can to get past Valtteri Bottas. He's not managed to do it today, but Gasly is in a decent position for tomorrow. But this battle is going all the way to the line, and Lando Norris has got past on the last lap. He's going to get into P8, and I believe that secures him a World Championship point. Leclerc in P1, Perez P2, then Verstappen and Ocon will come to the full classifieds. But an interesting race that was. And there we go, sprint results. So this will be tomorrow's grid. Leclerc and Perez lock out the front row. Verstappen, Ocon gain 2 positions to P4. Zhou Guanyu P5, Russell 6th, Schumacher 7th, Lando in 8th. Then came Stroll, Bottas and Pierre Gasly in P11. Right at the very back, it's the 2 McLarens and the Hugo Boss of Daniel Ricciardo. Let's have a look at the strategy for Sunday, because we've got some thinking to do. Right then, guys, P8 and P11. So, Lando Norris is going to be starting on the medium compounded tyres, going onto the hard, and then another set of mediums towards the end. But we are splitting the strategies because I was that impressed with Pierre Gasly's tyre conservation, tyre wear. He is going to start on the soft compounded tyre, then go on to 2 sets of mediums. It's very different for Pierre Gasly, but I think he can make it work. So, P8, P11, let's get to 5 red lights and hopefully move forward.
We're not far off now here in Austin as the drivers ready themselves for this 56-lap race. And there's always a sense of excitement when it comes to talking about Max Verstappen.
P3 is a decent starting position, and they should get a good haul of points if they play the race right.
And it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. Sit tight and get ready. It's the United States Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away I wouldn't mind seeing these two Ferraris smash into each other in turn one. That would be ideal, but they managed to get through quite comfortably. A lot of cars starting on the medium compounded tyre, but Gasly, Stroll and Bottas all on the soft compounded tyre. We did get a little flash of a yellow flag there, but nothing to be seen. Max Verstappen is straight up past his old teammate Checo Perez into P2. Perez in P3, Zhou Guanyu P4. Absolutely, he's been super line this weekend as Zhou Guanyu. Ocon in P5, Russell down in P6, only 2 places in front of his championship rival, Lando Norris, who's chasing him down for P2 in the championship, remember. Then comes Stroll, and Gasly is just settling in. I mean, the Mercedes there of Carlos Sainz, how close was that? Porsche on the mediums trying to get past him as well, but Gasly's got the pace on those soft compounded tyres. He's sat behind the Audi of Bottas again, but on lap 1 it's Leclerc from Perez, Verstappen pushing on. Lando Norris frustrated. It got to be said, I am too, because he's fell out of the DRS of the Audi in front of Mick Schumacher and then got passed by Lance Stroll. Not ideal at all from Lando Norris in the last couple of laps. Very disappointing, in fact, it must be said. At the sharp end, lap 4, it's still Leclerc Perez. They've actually dropped Max Verstappen. Have the Ferraris brought the big upgrade that's meant that for the end of this season they're going to be particularly strong? Ocon still in P8, but Lando Norris now, he's sat behind Lance Stroll. He's quicker than Lance Stroll as he dives to the outside of the Aston Martin. We ride on board with Lando Norris. He's passed him. We are now going to tell him to be aggressive and try and get up to the cars in front, because Lando's got to get back up towards Mick Schumacher. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly settling in lovely once again. We are just going to go a little bit lighter on the tyres once again, and hopefully Bottas will drag us up towards the guys in front. Lap 4. Lap 7, Pierre Gasly had to make a move on Lance Stroll, and he certainly has done. What a move this is. Lovely move into the left-hander, and now he's right on the back of the Audi sport car of Valtteri Bottas, and it must be said, he's looking after his tyres again so well, and in fact, Pierre Gasly is now in front of Valtteri Bottas. I'm hoping we're going to get to see a replay of that, but what a couple of laps that's been for Pierre Gasly. Now, we are going to get a replay. Let's have a look. So he gets past Lance Stroll, and then he goes and does this. He dive bombs Valtteri Bottas. What a move by Pierre Gasly into that corner on the soft compounded tyres at Kota. Gasly, he's performing miracles once again, up to P9 and now on the back of his teammate. And I don't know why, but today I just feel we're going to get a good result. And Lando Norris now, he's the next man to get past an Audi Sport, and it's the Audi Sport of Mick Schumacher, who's had a good weekend, it must be said, but he's just settled in now behind Lando Norris, and Lando Norris can see George Russell in front of him. We are now once again going to push on Lando Norris, because if he can catch up to this Red Bull, that's going to help him, and Pierre Gasly is tagging onto this as well. Anything is possible today, lap 9. Pierre Gasly has got Mick Schumacher. What a move this is. Again, Pierre Gasly just drives. When he's got cars to overtake, he's simply one of the best on the grid. And Pierre Gasly is past Mick Schumacher and now up into P8. You can see his teammate in front of him. Lando Norris is tagging onto the back of this next pack. Gasly's doing his utmost to catch him now, lap 10. And Lando Norris has overtaken George Russell. What a move again by an Andretti Cadillac on the Ford Red Bull. And that is one hell of an overtake. Lando Norris does eventually get this job done. We can see him still going side by side here. Zhou Guanyu's been a little bit of a bottleneck, it must be said. But Lando Norris is past George Russell. Gasly's on the back of this little pack as well. And you know what this has prompted? Pierre Gasly's tyre wear has prompted that we are going to now switch Lando Norris. He's still going to be on the 2-stop, but he's going to do the opposite of Pierre Gasly and go onto the soft compounder tyre at the end. This Andretti Cadillac can make these soft compound tyres work, and I'm here for it. Lap 11. Oh, and Lando Norris is starting to do Pierre Gasly things, because Zhou Guanyu didn't have DRS, but Lando Norris certainly did. Down the start, finish straight. Lando Norris into P6, and now He's got, I believe that's Carlos Sainz. Is it Sainz or is it Ocon? Let's have a look. I believe it's Esteban Ocon, it is. And Lando Norris, we're going to ride on board because Lando Norris, as we can see on the left-hand side, we're riding on board with Ocon, but Lando Norris has got the move done into P4. Lando Norris into P4, and he has got the best tyres of anyone around him. Lando Norris could drop these now, I'm suggesting. He's just still shoving Ocon a little bit wide, and that is absolutely lovely, or simply lovely, if we are using Max Verstappen's words. But great move again from Lando Norris. He's now going to drop Ocon, and Pierre Gasly is just about tagging onto the back of this group, lap 11. Lap 12, I know I'm bringing you back a lot, but this is one hell of a Grand Prix. Leclerc is still leading from Perez, Verstappen's in P3, Lando Norris is in P4, and has broken the DRS on Esteban Ocon, who's got George Russell sat behind him and Zhou, and now Pierre Gasly is chasing down the Williams of Zhou Guanyu. He's keeping us well in front of Mick Schumacher as well. We've got Lance Stroll in P10, Bottas 11th, we can go all the way down, Sainz, Porsche, Albon, De Vries in P15, Giovinazzi in P16, then comes Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri in P17 in a Williams, in a McLaren. Unbelievable. Tsunoda then in P18 in the Hugo Boss. Then comes Magnussen and Ricciardo. But Lando Norris is driving one hell of a drive here. And it must be said, Pierre Gasly is doing just the same. He's done so well on these soft compounder tyres. He will be coming in 2 laps' time. Oh, Esteban Ocon, not good at all. Just after we'd done that rundown, onto lap 13. And Ocon does this. I could hear him locking up. And that is so poor from Esteban Ocon. It's really put him towards the back. Pierre Gasly's through, and Pierre Gasly's being told now, get a shift on, sunshine, because he's going to be pitting in a couple of laps' time. So Gasly now using the tyres for all they are worth, and then he's going to be onto the mediums. And on lap 16, Pierre Gasly is coming into the pits. We've seen a few of the soft compound tyre runners pit already. Lando Norris is 3 seconds in front of George Russell, but into the pits. What a first stint for Pierre Gasly. That is an impressive first stint, as you are likely to see at Kota on the soft compounder tyres. Hopefully we get a decent stop here. It's not bad, it's 3.2 seconds. Pierre Gasly is going to trundle out. Now, really, we should be in a nice bit of clean air. I'm assuming we should be in front of Lance Stroll and behind Esteban Ocon. That's kind of where I'm expecting this to be. Where is Lance Stroll? Coming up the start-finish straight. Gasly trundling out. We are behind Esteban Ocon, but not be much. And Pierre Gasly, my word, I thought he were going straight into the back of that Mercedes then. My goodness, that was close. But Pierre Gasly now going to be told to get on with it a little bit. Lando Norris is the next one that he's got another, 5 or 6 laps to pit. 20 seconds for a pit stop here. At the moment, he'd come out in some nice clean air. But Lando Norris maintaining, in fact, extending the gap to George Russell. Oh, and we just enjoy Pierre Gasly, don't we? He's on his out lap here, and Pierre Gasly knew he had to get past this Mercedes of Esteban Ocon, and he's done it with ease on the medium compounder tyre. Lovely move, under braking. Got it done basically before the braking zone, but Pierre Gasly now, a nice bit of clean air. He's dropped Ocon, and he's pushing on like crazy now. Pierre Gasly in P13, and hopefully trying to make the undercut work. And on lap 18, I don't mean to alarm anyone, but George Russell seems to have fell off a cliff here, and he's now 4.8 seconds back, and Mick Schumacher is overtaking the Red Bull. Mick Schumacher is overtaking the Red Bull of George Russell. I mean, what has happened to Russell's pace here? Lando Norris, he's dead set for P4 here. I mean, possibly even a podium if something goes wrong at the front. Pierre Gasly now is on the back of some more cars, and he's going to use his time just to harvest a little bit of ERS as well, because it makes sense to do. And he's looking at the back of this McLaren. Can he get the move done here? Not quite. But Pierre Gasly now getting a little bit of traffic. And at lap 20, one of the leaders is in, and Checo Perez is into the pits. Now, Ferrari need a good pit stop here, and a good pit stop it is. It's very good, in fact. Russell's in, Schumacher's in, Lando Norris will be in next lap. And as we've got a few cars trundling out of the pit lane, Pierre Gasly, who, remember, went for the undercut, and he's well past George Russell. My word, that undercut was key. And Pierre Gasly is up into P7. He's had to be a little bit aggressive there as well. But that is a significant undercut for Pierre Gasly, who's staying in front of Lance Stroll and trying to give it the absolute beans now to catch up with Nick De Vries. We are going to stay with this battle because Lance Stroll has got him, which I'm not overly upset about because we're going to get the DRS now as well. But Pierre Gasly has undercut a few cars there and will now be battling for what? Net P5? Lando Norris into the pit, lap 21. Is it going to be a good stop for Lando? Let's have a look. 3.2 seconds again. He's solid, if not spectacular. Pierre Gasly still going at it here with Théo Pourchaire, and he is now past him. He's getting the DRS as well, and he's now going to try and catch up with the Aston Martin. But where? Oh, where is Lando Norris? Lando Norris is there. He's seen his teammate undercut him, and Lando Norris is out in front of Pourchaire and into P6. It's P5 and P6 for the Andretti Cadillacs, and Pierre Gasly now chasing after Lance Stroll once again. Pierre Gasly is driving like a man possessed at this moment. Take a look at this. He gets the DRS and then he burns past Alexander Albon, and then he can see Lance Stroll, the man he's been chasing for a little while. And as you can see, Lando Norris just behind as well, getting past Alexander Albon. The two Andretti Cadillac boys are now up into P5 and P6, and we will fancy attacking Lance Stroll, I can tell you that much. Both cars doing their absolute utmost here, and Lando Norris doing very well as well. I mean, I can't even get a lap in between highlights at this moment. Pierre Gasly, DRS again. Lance Stroll, absolute sitting duck. I'm not quite sure if Lando Norris has got past him as well, but Pierre Gasly now up into P4 on circuit. Remember, going on to a set of mediums at the end. We're now going to try and bolt away with Pierre Gasly here to ensure that Lando Norris gets an easier pass as well. But we're not that far from Max Verstappen. Oh my word, and what we possibly needed to happen has just happened. Charles Leclerc has just spun at turn 15 and he nearly collided with Checo Perez as well. He's not happy, Charles Leclerc. That's brought him right into this fight with, with Verstappen still. Stroll's 8.7 seconds back. Gasly and Norris still chasing after this Aston Martin, but we need to get past it because this is bringing George Russell back into the race, which we certainly don't want to do. Lap 25. Lap 28, it's sorted itself out a little bit. Lando Norris has managed to get past Pierre Gasly. He's 1.7 seconds up the road. As we would expect, Pierre Gasly's tyres are now dying off a little bit, but George Russell managing to get past on the hard compound tyre on Pierre Gasly. Pierre's going to be quick towards the end. Do not worry. I reckon he'll tag onto the back of this Red Bull, which as we come back, he certainly is managing to do. But 1.9 seconds is the gap from Russell to Norris, and Norris is cruising along nicely. Lap 28. And on lap 30, I said he'd keep up with him. He's got past him. Pierre Gasly, he's just driving a fantastic race once again. And he's causing this Red Bull of George Russell some right problems at this moment in time. Pierre Gasly back up into P5. And what you will be interested to know is Lando Norris now, although 11 seconds behind the leaders, is 4.3 seconds clear of Gasly and Russell. So it's all working out rather nicely. We have got a crash on circuit. Carlos Sainz in P19. I mean, he's driving on his own in that Mercedes and he's just spinning off into the barriers. It has caused a VSC, not a full course safety car. We have been looking at whether to bring in Pierre Gasly or not, but at this moment in time, we're quite happy possibly not to, but we'll come back when we're back to green flag running. We are still under virtual safety car conditions, and I think it's a good time to bring in Pierre Gasly because we can get him onto a fresh set of mediums, we can get him out, and I reckon this will work for us. It's a big strategy gamble. The couple of cars that's come in terms of Stroll and Schumacher went on to hards. We're going on to mediums because we know Pierre Gasly today is the tyre whisperer. 3.1 seconds, it's not bad at all. A few cars going on to the hard, but I reckon because we're under VSC, we'll conserve the tyres. If we can get back out onto circuit before this virtual safety car ends, then that is going to suit us no end. We will be pushing from the start. Pierre Gasly is out. He's behind Giovinazzi, but in front of Lance Stroll. And now it is time to attack with Pierre Gasly. Go, go, go. Lap 32. We are back to green flag running. And this man just does not disappoint, does he? Pierre Gasly, he's past Giovinazzi, putting the distance between himself and Lance Stroll once again. And it's lovely work from Pierre. Back up into P7. All his pit stops have been made. Pierre may benefit from this massively today. We've been pushing a little bit at the start, but we will then calm down on the tyres. I just wanted to break the DRS to Giovinazzi. Magnussen's locked up at turn 13. Let's have a little look at this one as well. That McLaren looks a terrible car. it must be said, on the soft compounder tyre, and Magnussen's been struggling with it all afternoon. So disappointing for the McLaren, and that is him. Well, he's at the back anyway. He's not going to do anything. But Giovinazzi, he's broke the DRS. He's broke the DRS as Pierre Gasly to Giovinazzi, and he's now chasing back up to Gio. Lap 34, Charles Leclerc in from the lead of the Grand Prix. He's going onto a set of hard compounder tyres. Remember, we're going to be so quick at the end of this Grand Prix. This is a shocking stop from Ferrari. My word, that must be around 8 or 9 seconds. That was a terrible stop from Charles Leclerc. I'm not quite sure how long that took, but Lando Norris has passed him by some distance. That is such a bad stop from Ferrari. George Russell's passed him. Where's Pierre Gasly? He's not quite going to get past him, but he's catching Zhou Guanyu at a rate of knots. Has that just lost Charles Leclerc a podium today? We've had another crash on circuit. Let's have a look now. It's Giovinazzi and Alexander Albon just tapping wheels into turn 1. I mean, it's a scruffy bit of driving from both drivers. Possibly Giovinazzi forcing him wide didn't help. But that's, he's not forced a safety car or anything. It's not quite worth all the bad reactions in the Williams garage either, it must be said. But Lando Norris now into P2. Checo Perez pit. And we're looking quite strong at the moment. Lance Stroll has caught us at this moment in time, which I'm a little bit annoyed about. Because I thought we should be battling away here. But Lance Stroll on the back of us now. Now, this could be a very important overtake from Pierre Gasly because he's managed to get Zhou Guanyu and put a car between himself and the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. So great work from Pierre Gasly, as we've come to expect on this episode. Gasly in front of Zhou Guanyu now up in to P6. Lando Norris is leading the Grand Prix, but of course has got to pit yet. But he's going to be on softs at the end. Lap 40, Max Verstappen has got Lando Norris, and it must be said Lando Norris now is struggling on these mediums. He's coming in on the next lap, but again, we're going to be very, very quick when Lando Norris comes in. So Verstappen's past him. Charles Leclerc is very much up there as well. Pierre Gasly's having a right ding-dong battle at the moment with Lance Stroll, and we are just going to calm it down on the tyres with Pierre Gasly now because we've no need to push like we are doing. We're just going to start taking it easy, but Lando Norris will be in very shortly. Lap 41, Lando Norris is boxing. We've seen Pierre Gasly battling with Lance Stroll. He's going to continue to do that. But Lando Norris is in to the pits with 15 laps to go to strap on a set of fresh, soft compound tyres. I mean, a safety car here would benefit Lando Norris like you've never seen. But in he comes for his pit stop. Let's see if he has a decent one. 3.3 seconds. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I expect him to come out between Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas. And then he's got a few cars to pass, one of which is going to be his teammate, who I can assure you is going to not get in his way. But Lando Norris now out onto a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Gasly's nursing his mediums, and this will work rather well. We're going to have a look at Pierre Gasly overtaking Lance Stroll because it's been that kind of day. But once again, DRS wide open, and he's past the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. So great work once again from Pierre Gasly. It's all going to rest on how quickly Lando Norris can negotiate these cars in front of him. New fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and you knew it were coming. Lando Norris into P8. He's now going to be in P7 because he's got Lance Stroll. And next up is his teammate Pierre Gasly and then Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher's come back into this out of nowhere, by the way. Pierre Gasly's now been very light on his side. He's so light on them, they've gone a little bit cold. But Lando Norris will be getting past these cars very shortly and then back up to chase George Russell. Lando Norris has got Mick Schumacher. He's back up now into P6. Lovely work from Lando again into turn 1. Those soft compound tyres are working for Lando Norris. Next up is his teammate, then his championship rival, George Russell. Lando Norris now up into P6. Gasly's in P5. Gasly's actually caught Russell. But Norris pushing on nicely and nursing his tyres well. He's doing everything he needs to do at this moment in time, Lando Norris, and we are here for it. Pierre Gasly has got George Russell. I mean, it's just highlight after highlight today. I hope you are enjoying this action at home because Pierre Gasly now up into P4. Lovely move. And as you can see, George Russell is going to be seeing that flying Brit behind him, Lando Norris, because I mean, surely George Russell's pitting again. Or is George Russell going to the end? This would be a mad strategy from Red Bull if they are on. Is that a one-stop? A one-stop at Kota. That would be rather interesting from Red Bull if they go for it. But Pierre Gasly now should have the tyres. In fact, George Russell's got back in front of him. What is that all about? We need to get past this. We need to get past this Red Bull very, very quickly. And it must be said, Pierre Gasly got past George Russell, and then George Russell decided to pit. We can see both Andretti Cadillacs, in fact, getting past the Red Bull. So that should be George Russell out of the equation today. And we're pretty happy with that, it must be said. So both Andretti Cadillacs passed him, and now it's just a case of getting Lando Norris past Pierre Gasly, which he's about to do now. And that should see us through, because Lando Norris is now up into P4. His teammate is going to be told now, do not fight your teammate. There is no need to fight your teammate. Just hang on to that DRS, and that will see you through to the end of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris has got, what, 8 laps to chase down Checo Perez? Stranger things have happened. Lap 52, gap is down to 3 seconds. Lando Norris can see the target, and that target is Checo Perez. Pierre Gasly is just conserving his tyres now, making sure that these are going to go to the end of the Grand Prix. It's very different races for our two drivers at this moment in time, but Lando can see the Ferrari. It's not just about seeing the Ferrari. Lando Norris is in front of the Ferrari. He's in front of the Ferrari of Checo Perez, and he has got 1 lap that he's got to defend from it. We are going to tell him to always defend. Will he be able to do this? Lando Norris, this would be some achievement from the British driver. He's currently on the podium. George Russell is on the back of Pierre Gasly. Sadly, there's nothing we can do about that. But one thing we can do is defend from this Ferrari of Checo Perez. And we are going to give it absolutely everything to try and do so. We are going to go on, always defend. We will have a look at George Russell overtaking Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly, the tyres are dead, it must be said. We took the risk with the VSC pit stop. And fair play to George Russell. He's got the job done down the start finish straight, but it all comes down to this. Lando Norris, he's going to have to defend down this next DRS zone, and this is going to be absolutely crucial. Can Lando Norris do this? We are going to put him on deploy. Checo Perez already looking like he fancies a move on the British driver, and he's just holding him up. And this is it. This is going to be Checo Perez's best chance to overtake the British driver. We are going to ride on board with Checo Perez because Lando Norris has gone defensive here to the inside. Checo Perez doesn't look exactly close enough to be able to get a move done. Is he going to chuck one down the outside? He isn't. Lando Norris is just about at this moment holding on. Could he possibly get a podium here at Kota? Does he deserve to? I think absolutely. I think Pierre Gasly possibly deserves to as well. He is at risk of a puncture now, Pierre Gasly, but Lando Norris is trundling round this last sector. Checo Perez has got the tyres. Will he be able to get past the British driver? There's going to be a bit of DRS up to the line, but Lando Norris, as he comes round the final corner, Leclerc's won from Verstappen, but Lando Norris rounds the final corner on the podium. Can he defend from the Ferrari? It's going to be exceptionally close, but Lando Norris gets the podium. Pierre Gasly will come home in P6, but Lando Norris, what a drive. P8 on the grid, P3 on the podium. Unbelievable work from both drivers again. Oh, let's get to the podium.
Max Verstappen has done it. He sealed this year's driver's title.
What a glorious moment for them, sealing their 4th F1 title.
Lando Norris certainly loves a podium, heading up there now to celebrate again.
I can't believe we're seeing a 9th podium of the season. Just incredible consistency.
Unbelievable from Lando Norris. Unbelievable, it must be said, from Max Verstappen winning the driver's title. And it's got to be said, it's very much been deserved. We can see Charles Leclerc, who drove a fantastic race, had that spin, of course, and still managed to win the race. But Lando Norris deserves every bit of making that strategy work. What a performance from both our drivers once again, both gaining 5 positions on the day. Am I a strategic genius? You let me know down in the comments. But Charles Leclerc wins from Verstappen, Norris P3, Perez P4, he'll be so disappointed. Russell in P5, Gasly P6, then came Schumacher. Very strong showing from Schumacher on the day. Stroll P8, Zhou Guanyu P9, and Bottas in P10. We did have one DNF, and that was Carlos Sainz. But what a shocking day for the McLarens, by the way. How poor was that? As you've just heard, Max Verstappen did win the Drivers' Championship. Fair play to Max Verstappen. George Russell on 321 points. We do gain 2 points on him, and that is going to be 37 points that we are now behind George Russell. Pierre Gasly is up into P6 in the driver's standings. Constructors-wise, it was a decent day for Ferrari. We move on to 412 points. They are still 50, no they're not, they're 47 points behind us. This quick maths at the end is always a challenge. Mercedes P4, Williams jump above Haas into P7. My word, that's probably a bit of a longer episode, but thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!